Hello, my name is Daryl Robert Schoon, and I am here with what I consider a true treasure of Tucson. No, this is not a green corn tamale. This is Reverend Betty Tatalajski, the founder of the Temple of Universality. For those of you who don't know this bit of history, in 1979, she walked into a small spiritualist church here in Tucson. Reverend Bob Ireland was the minister there, and she was not familiar with the world of psychics, mediums, or metaphysics at this time. That was all about to change. Within the year, Betty had taken her Course in Miracles group to Camp Chesterfield in Indiana, where, shockingly to herself, she was informed she was going to start a church, basically a religion, but not a religion like most people thought. It wasn't another belief system.
A new one.
A new one called Universalism, where the truth in everything, in every religion, was the foundation of it. Well, Betty didn't quite believe it. I mean, hearing it is one thing, all right? But she was also told that she was going to study the world's philosophies and religions and travel the world as a part of her journey. Now, that was 1979. Betty had grown up in Kentucky and she had already done a fair bit of traveling. Her husband was with the government. She was a Marine, and they had been in Japan, and so she knew what traveling was. But she had no idea what was going to happen later. How many countries have you gone to, Betty?
Well, about 140.
140. All right. Now, next week, or within 2 weeks, she's going to leave on another trip to the Middle East. Now, how many trips have you taken to the Middle East?
27 so far. This will be 28.
All right. So, what she was told at Camp Chesterfield in Indiana through some psychic mediums did turn out to be true.
Incredible mediums.
Incredible.
Yes.
And so when I say we have a Tucson treasure here, it's because we have a person among us in Tucson who's traveled to places and seen things that we have not. And if you want to learn, then it might pay to stay tuned to this channel.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And of course, the Course in Miracles says, of myself I need do nothing. So that's an easy sell.
That's an easy sell.
I know that you did that too, that Course in Miracles, before I ever met you. And so we do live magical, mystical, metaphysical lives because we choose to. And we also have a great friend in the Bible called St. Paul, who says, I would not have you ignorant. We quote him a lot.
Betty, I want to say, I wasn't sure that he was my friend until he came to the Temple of Universality.
Well, I didn't think he was my friend for a long time, and I had to apologize a lot because I used to call him a male chauvinist.
That's right.
And so, when I found out he was also Lord Hilaria, then I did,
the Ascended Master.
Sorry,
right. It was just one of his more disciplined.
My only Japanese word, sorry about that, But anyway, it is a wonderful trip, and we do love universalism and knowing that all people are the same. Mm-hmm. I've always thought it really wonderful that we don't all have the same belief system. I think that would be really boring, don't you? But to travel the world and seeing everybody has the same heart, they have the same desires, they want peace for themselves and for their families and so forth. And so it is wonderful to do that. And of course, going back to the Middle East in a few days for what we call Pentecost. And so I will be talking about that when I come back, how it truly is a Pentecost. As we all get together, Christians, Jews, Druze, Muslims, and share. And when we do that, everybody needs to come face to face with people rather than just making up a belief system about what they think. We don't know what they think until we're talking with them and facing them and find out they're just like we are. And so it's a wonderful mission and ministry that we all have, because we are all citizens of this, not only this world, but this universe. So I have been thinking about, since I'm doing a journey back to Israel to reconstruct, as it were, and to hold Pentecost there and to sign again the peace declaration. So I've been thinking, though, about the 120 country ministry tour, a conference that we had, and I've been thinking, when we started off actually an incredible day in Nagoya, Japan. I love Japan, and the people in Nagoya were so incredible. I had incredible experience there with the Buddha, actually. Love to share it sometime. But I've been thinking about Africa a lot. There's so much discord, and we don't help the situation, we really claim to be good people. We intend to be, but, the beloved Jesus said, love one another. By this all shall know you are my disciple, if you have love one for another. Well, I think if having love for another doesn't mean that you're going to send drones over, and bombs over and kill people.
Tough love.
Tough love. or we just determine which side is better.
Yes.
I don't understand that at all. When all people are the same, which ones that we need to annihilate?
Well, Betty, it's real clear when you use the right metric, and you choose which one is better by who serves your interests the best.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
We're talking the oil story.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. Money and power.
Okay, I thought we were just going to throw some dice, But anyway, it is so many. You can imagine so many wonderful memories I have of incredible people around the world. But I was thinking about the people in Cameroon, and that was the first African country that I traveled to. Of course, I, like so many people, have been to Egypt and Tunisia and
Northern Africa.
But you don't tend to think about it actually being Africa.
Yeah.
It's so Western up there. And very beautiful. But when I was leaving for Africa after Europe, and it was interesting because I was supposed to fly out of Munich, and I had flown there from Salzburg, and the Air France would not let me on the plane. I found out, it took me quite a while, several hours, to find out that France does not really encourage Christian ministers, to go to Africa. So they wouldn't accept.
Really? That's something.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be a wonderful thing if everything fell in place, but from going from one country to another, I always saw it like a trapeze act.
Yeah.
And nobody ever let me fall. The people here would drop me off, and the people here pick me up. It was a trapeze act. Well, they almost dropped me when I got to Munich, and I'm supposed to fly to Cameroon, and actually they wouldn't let me. Air France wouldn't let me. So after a couple of days in Munich, which is very, very beautiful, they sent me to Zurich, and I flew out of Zurich. But it was interesting about Munich is interesting because it is very beautiful, and the people are lovely. But I had been there a couple times before, and I would get traveling, from the airport and to this town. And I would always get nauseous, and I couldn't understand why I would get nauseous, because Munich is so lovely. And it was this last trip that I was flying over to Zurich, and I'm on the highway, and I saw the little sign. There was a concentration camp down the road. I had not seen that before.
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand why in this certain place on a highway I would get sick. And so there I saw it. Okay, so what we know is that at that concentration camp, what we need to do is concentrate on the spirit there and I need to build a golden pyramid over that area, we could do it. We could change it because we do it all over the
time,
world. We do it all over the world. And I had not thought about that.
Good.
I was just enjoying the beautiful city.
Yeah.
But it is, you know, when I go to the Holocaust Museum or Memorial in Israel, the first time I walked in, and that was 2003. I'm sorry, that was the first conference, but I had been there twice before. But anyway, the first time I walked in there, as soon as I walked in, it was like somebody hit me in the stomach, and I hit the floor.
Wow.
Because of the spirit of the people who are moaning, groaning, and you know, and the horrible things, the unbelievable things that what we call humanity can do to other folks. Unbelievable, and we're still doing them. But instead of going in these places and singing, dancing, and calling in the Spirit to come, because, you know, Spirit says, and Jesus said, all the great masters, ask, and it shall be given. So if we could go in there and celebrate these people who gave their lives and suffered so incredibly, if we could celebrate their lives and free them. We could, of course. All we have to do is go in there and celebrate them. We celebrate you. Do some beautiful music and call in the spirit world too, because they're
transform
waiting.
it.
They cannot.
They're trapped.
They cannot come in there and rescue these folks unless they want to be rescued. And of course, they don't even know that they can be rescued.
No, they're just trapped in the circumstances in which their lives ended.
They're trapped. Everybody should know that, that whatever situation you're in, and when you make transition, in your mind, because we know that you can be in a beautiful solarium, you know, and make transition, but if you are in a state of hate and fear and anger, you're not going into a beautiful place. It's just that simple. So anyway, I think we owe millions of people around the world who died in these situations to go in there and say, you are freed, you are freed. So anyway, I made it from Zurich over to Cameroon and Douala at first, and then I'm going over to the coast to do the peace talk. And on the way over, there was the wife of a chief. Now these are spirit people, okay?
All right.
Like my granddaughter. Are these people that you know that we can't see, Grandma?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, that's one of them. Okay. One of it. So before I started this trip, the day before, I was lying there reading. You know, I love to read. And Spirit said to me, we want you to go to such and such store. And I thought, I've got everything. What do I need? What do I need, you know? And I've got the makeup in there, you know. And they said, we go to the store. There's something we want you to buy.
I want to explain something here for the uninformed viewers on this. When Reverend Betty Tatalajski talks about Spirit told her, it's because after she had this extraordinary experience at that little spiritualist church here in Tucson, she took down this road with an enthusiasm that I don't think anybody I've seen has captured. It created what she calls a divine obsession, magnificent obsession, which is divine.
Yeah,
for this world that she had been entered into, that she had become privy to by circumstances she had not planned on in her life.
Never heard of it.
Didn't know about spirits. You know, eventually, before when she'd been a Catholic, she sort of got into this world of where these things existed that didn't exist in the world of Southern Baptists.
But they didn't talk to you.
But they didn't talk to you.
No.
But in the spirit, here, the spiritualism that she was introduced to, it was interactive. It was interactive. And so when she is in Munich or in Cameroon and she hears Spirit talking to her, it's because she is in touch with.
Because I'm listening.
That's more important. You're right. Because she's listening. She is. A lot of people talk to God. A lot of people pray to God. A lot of people curse God for their circumstances. Very few people listen.
Jesus said, "Be still and know." He didn't say, "Be still and think."
Yeah, he said, "Be still and know,"
which means meditation.
That's right.
It's really simple.
That's right.
He didn't say, "Be still, and think."
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's why she's on her way somewhere, and Spirit talks to her, which it does.
So they said, "We want you to go to the store." They told me the one. Okay, I hop up and go. And
now, how many people here in Tucson, if you were sitting there lying on your bed and all of a sudden you heard this inclination, go down to Walgreens, pick up this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Betty has done this so often, she does it. And on with the story.
For 33 years.
33 years.
And it's delightful. So I went to the store, the shop, and I looked around.
And that's here in Tucson.
In Tucson.
Okay.
And there's nothing, that I want. And there was a jewelry case there. And I looked at it. Well, there was a lot of rhinestone jewelry in there. And, that was a long time ago. You wore rhinestones, And so there was a beautiful set in a velvet box and a beautiful necklace. Really heavy, chunky, lovely, and years ago would have been expensive.
Yeah.
And the earrings to match. And so Spirit said, "Yes, buy this set." And I said, I don't wear the rhinestones. Well, buy it anyway, okay? You're going to give it away.
This is what happened here in Tucson. I'm sure there were people in that same store. They had no idea that she was carrying on an inner dialogue with Spirit about these rhinestones.
No. But anyway, I bought it.
You bought them.
They said, "You're going to give it away on the trip."
Okay.
And so I had no idea who I was going to give it to or what country I was going to be in.
But you had just been told.
And in that one suitcase that's going to do me for all of this travel.
Yeah, 120 countries.
And I didn't, and then put this velvet box in there of something I knew I wasn't going to wear.
Yeah.
And I didn't have room.
Yeah, that's precious space.
That's precious space.
Yeah.
And when we left London, we had to take everything we had and split it in half, make half, and give half of it away. Because the main important thing about these countries we're going into, they do not have planes that carry big suitcases. It's very simple, okay? So we did that, and I've still got the velvet box with the rhinestone jewelry in it. And so we get to Diwali, Cameroon, and I've still got it.
All right.
And we're going through this road, interesting road, and we get to,
What do you mean interesting road?
Well, it was interesting because, the ruts were like this.
Okay.
The car was like,
all right.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And so there,
the kind of roads that most of us see only in National Geographic.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we had our host and a woman sitting here, African, and I'm sitting right behind this woman, and it's pretty quiet, and this woman spoke to me in spirit, and she said, she gave me her name, but I don't know African, so I don't.
Okay, all right, let's go again. So you're sitting here, there's this woman sitting behind you.
There's in front of me, there's
in
one
front of you.
in here.
Okay.
But this one is talking to me
in your ear, in spirit, a person in spirit was talking to you. Okay, all right.
So she said,
okay.
I am so-and-so. My husband was chief so-and-so
all right.
of this particular place, okay?
Right.
And she said, the woman in front of you in the car is the one that you're to give the set to.
The set to, the rhinestones.
The rhinestones,
set.
the beautiful necklace and earrings. She's the one.
Okay.
But she said, I am, if I'd had a pen, I'd spell that again. but an African woman who was wife of a chief
Okay.
of a village, and she told me which village it was.
Wow. Okay.
And this woman, I want her to have that jewelry that you brought for her.
Okay.
So,
That's right. So.
so we go on to Cameroon,
Okay.
and to the coast, and we're in a little, what I call a little motel that has about 5 or 6 rooms in it. Beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful, peaceful place, and I'm thrilled to be there. And so the next night, we're having a welcome party. A lot of people from Lembe, Cameroon, had the party for us. And as I'm sitting there, the woman says, "Now give her her
Present.
present." So I went in the room, I got the present, and I came out and I handed it to this young woman. Well, she was kind of like in shock, and she was very quiet, you know. And I'm sure her mind was going about, what is this about? Well, there was no way I could tell her.
Yeah.
Because I believe that she was a good Christian.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The door might be too narrow.
That's the way I
Yeah.
felt. And so I just said, I just gave it to her.
Yeah.
And asked my hostess to tell her, you
Yeah.
know, that it's a gift from America. Excuse me. So I just left it like that, and she was kind of stunned, and politely, said
Yeah.
thank you. The party went on, and I've mentioned before where one of my favorite songs they were singing.
Oh, it's beautiful, Betty.
Yes, this is my song. This
Yeah.
called Finlandia.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
national song
Beautiful.
of Finland, I believe. But
Yeah.
it's also kind of our song at
Yeah, at the temple.
at the temple too, and excuse me. And it was such a lovely, lovely thing. And the next morning, a young woman came in the room, and she was, as like I said, there were about 5 tiny little rooms there called the motel, and it was called the Beach Hotel.
The Beach Hotel.
And it was this young woman right here. I hope you can see her. She's very beautiful.
This one there.
And
yeah. Little photograph.
She sent me the card when I got home.
Okay. Yeah.
And but when she walked in and she came over to the bed, she's wearing a name tag. Her name was Betty Tata. You can see it. Her name is Betty Tata.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that was the same name that you had on that plane ticket when you went into to Tibet.
Yes.
And they thought you were part of the Tata family.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So this woman, she's very beautiful, and she has on a pink smock, and it's got on here in blue, Betty Tata, my name.
Betty Tatalajski. And when she was gone in China, and she was trying to get on the airplane to go into Tibet, they abbreviated her name because it was too long, to Betty Tata.
So friends, expect the unexpected. Spirit knows where you are, what you're doing, and they're friends, they're helpers, and they make life really wonderful. And you get to meet your other half. You know what I mean? It was incredible, and this woman is so incredible, and she sent me this beautiful Christmas card from Lembe, Cameroon. Every country that I have ever been in has been mystical, magical, metaphysical,
Ladies and gentlemen, Tucsonians, this is why I go to the Temple of Universality on Sunday at 11 a.m. every Sunday at the corner of Prince and Country Club. Because this is the wonderful world of spirit, not the world you hear about from others, but as it comes through Reverend Betty Tatalajski, show up and be dazzled.